Hey, this is Nalestar and welcome back to another video. Yesterday I got an email saying that the Plugin Alliance version of this plugin, the elysia mpressor, just went on sale. And when I saw the price that it was $30, I remembered that, hey, isn't this the plugin that costs like $200 on the UAD platform? And so I thought, if I can get the same thing for $30 that I previously wanted to buy for $200, well, that's a good deal, right? So yeah, yesterday I did this test off camera, and what I found is that these plugins are technically identical. So if you don't even want to watch the rest of the video, goodbye, see you in the next one. But if you want to see the actual null tests, which I'm going to do right now on extreme settings of these knobs, you're going to see that these plugins are actually identical. Now what's funny is that these plugins have this noise floor option here. And what this does is that, at least I strongly suspect this is how it works, that it has a couple of samples preloaded into the plugin, and it's essentially playing back in random order these samples continuously. So this is what generates this random noise floor. And so these, in theory, should never null against each other, and you cannot get these to null against each other. However, if the knobs null against each other, then you're good to go. So just for the sake of showing it, I'm going to show the noise floor as well, which is like something. So this is, you can see here in this analyzer. I loaded up this Pro Q3 just so that we can take a look at the output, obviously. And so for this type of comparison video, I'm just going to turn this noise floor off, because there's like not much point in comparing these two, as they are ever going to null, and no one would expect randomly generated stuff to ever null against each other, right? That's just not how these things work. However, what we're much more curious about is whether the knobs are nulling against each other, and especially on extreme settings. And if they do, then the cheaper buy is essentially a better value buy, and end of discussion. So I just loaded these plugins up. So these are on factory settings, and they are barely even touching the audio, but let's just check if they are right now nulling against each other or not, and seems like they are nulling. So just in case, I'm going to show the sample. This is what should so this is the sample. It's from Splice, it's a royalty-free loop, and it's just, was perfect for the demonstration of this. So I would say let's crank up the threshold all the way up to truly extreme settings, and let's see if they are still nulling against each other, if there's something going on. I think so. This is very good news, obviously, especially from the cheaper plugins perspective. Now let's do the same thing with the attack. Once again, you get a perfect null. So, just by doing this, you can already see that these two are absolutely identical as far as the Plugin Alliance on macOS and on an Intel processor, and the UAD2 version on an Apollo DSP processor goes. These are identical. I cannot confirm whether the Plugin Alliance on a Windows PC would still null against the UAD version. I have no idea about that, but I'm running macOS, and this one obviously runs on the Apollo. So these are nulling against each other, at least so far. Let's check the other knobs. Release. Let's crank it all the way down. All right, again, perfect null. Ratio. Perfect null once again. What I found, however, yesterday a little bit funny, it's not a problem on the processing part of the plugin, but an actual kind of like bug, I would say, on the graphical user interface, and I couldn't really figure out which one is displaying me not the numbers that I want to be displayed, so to say, because when I set this plugin to, like, I'm just gonna demonstrate this on the gain knob, but you can basically do this with every other knob. At least yesterday I did that. If you set them both to 6 dB, you might still get a difference showing on this analyzer. And if on the both extremes of the knobs are nulling, then what this tells me is that the graphical interface has some issues. What I did yesterday is that I just messed around with these knobs, like up and down, and set them up again at 6. And I did this once again, and then holding down the shift key, I'm setting them, and again I'm coming from the upper side, and at some point I was able to like null against the other one once again. So I strongly suspect this is a graphical interface bug, and this is not a fault in the, okay. Oh, almost there. So this is a fault of the graphical interface somehow. At least I strongly suspect that there's no difference between the actual processing of these two plugins. Because again, if I turn down the threshold, gain all the way down, it's nulling once again. And just so you can see that the gain knob again is not faulty, because at if you're driving them again to their maximum setting, they are again nulling against each other. So the problem is not with any of the knobs, but with the graphical setting. So with the same 6 dB setting or 7 dB setting, after like, you know, doing this and here again doing this and setting them again at 7, and they are nulling better than they did the previous test, that's obviously a GUI problem, and not not a fault with either one of these plugins processing abilities. And that's what matters at the end of the day. In real life situations, whether, you know, like this is like 4 dB gain or 4.1 dB gain, that probably won't ever matter. But what matters is that these plugins are nulling against each other on extreme settings, and what that tells me is that these plugins are identical, and this is the point of today's video, essentially. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.